guys later. Have
Yeah,
fun.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the GSRC round 10 of the Up and Comers series, Season B. We are here at the very, very popular Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in what I would imagine would be a very cold Victoria right now, right on the edge of Bass Strait. And we want to welcome you tonight to the final round of Season B for the Up and Comers series, where we have 3 races tonight, all at Phillip Island. We have the guys currently qualifying in Formula B, then they're jumping into Toyota GR86, finishing off with the Mustangs. So here we are at Phillip Island, joined by broadcast extraordinaire Sam Chapman, and currently weather is 20 degrees. I'm not entirely sure that's going to be too accurate right now. It is clear, of course, because iRacing hasn't started with their rain scenarios yet. But as I mentioned, joined by Sam Chapman. Sam, welcome. Exciting night ahead. Not as close a championship battle as last season, but still all to play for between Chuk Fung Wong, Sean Rees for 1 and 2, and Ben Woods and Greg Padgett for 3 and 4.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that leads us into sort of where these championship points are. So yeah, it's not quite as tight as what we saw last year, but keep in mind, I think it's 180 points on offer tonight. So it's a lot of points on offer. Realistically, if everything fell apart for the top guys, everyone down to sort of Hooper has a shot at this. So you never know what will happen. We saw fireworks last year, right until the end of the final race. In fact, after the final race when they're doing calculations. So you never know with those sort of points, and we'll see what they can dish up.
And if memory serves me correctly, last season's winner, Greg Padgett, won by a minimum amount of points, and because he had a 0x on the final race, I think the 0x got him over the line.
Yeah, that was right. I think it looked like I think they were in before that point, and I was just holding out to see if Greg had done a 0x, and he had. So I think otherwise he may have even come third. It was that close. It was down to about 3 points between the top 3 there.
Yeah, Greg Padgett, Brennan Varian, and Pete Matson from memory. So, but all is now about season B, and you can see the points on the screen. Chuk Fung Wong, and Sean Rees, 26 points apart. Ben Woods, 3rd. Greg Padgett, 4th. And I did give Jonathan Hooper a bit of a miss before, but he certainly is in the running for a podium position. Guys have just finished qualifying. There's a minute and a half to go before the lights are out. So Remember last week when we were broadcasting, race 2 was the Carnage race. Hopefully there's not too much tonight. If there is, there's plenty of points up for grabs, as you said, Sam.
Absolutely. There's a lot up for grabs. Yeah, I think round 2 got a little bit dicey, but yeah, we'll see. It's an interesting concoction of cars. We've got Vs, we've got 86s, and we've got Mustangs, which are all very different, but all loved in their own right. So yeah, it should be good fun. And they actually are closer than I thought they were at the top there on points. Let me just see if I can get the grid up as well. I don't think quali's just finished yet, so we're just waiting on that.
No, the boys have stopped driving. It's the quali, they give a 2-minute. But I can update while you're waiting for that. That Sean Reese is on pole position. Ben Woods is second, 0.023 behind. Chuk Fung Wong third. Greg Paget fourth. So the top 4 guys in the championship are the top 4 guys in qualifying. And in P5 is a new name, Aaron Bryan. I'm not familiar with Aaron at this point, but he's P5. Wayne Edwards is 6. Brendan Nealon, Jonathan Hooper, Justin Cotter, Michael Ladder, Adam Johnson, Brendan Soper, Shane Kelland, Timothy Andrew doesn't look like he's later time. And we also want to give a bit of a shout out to Dave Johnson, who is race control tonight. So normally we have Trent Lavis. He's been unavailable the last few weeks. So David stepped in to make sure the boys behave themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see them lining up here in the Vs. It's good to see Vs back in the GSRC. I've missed the little Vs as much as I like the production cars. It is good to see the Vs back out, especially around Phillip Island, which is such a great circuit for them as well. They've probably got about a minute 20 before they kick off still. Hopefully, I think the Vs, my hope is that they still stay in a few separate packs. It's always frustrating when you're on your own in a Formula V, because you can never catch the guys in front, even if you are a bit quicker than them.
Yeah, that's right. And this track suits superbly the V's draft-wise, particularly the long straight that we have here at Phillip Island. The guys, well, there is that saying that they're not playing for sheep stations, but probably not a good idea to tell them that tonight. It wouldn't matter anyway. No matter when they put the helmet on, they're always gonna look at wanting to win. So the quality has been good. The guys are about to take off, waiting for the red lights to come on.
Yeah, it's still probably a couple of guys.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, good to see Josh Zuno joining us. I must say, I've seen some of his chats on the broadcast recently, and they have cracked me up in many cases. And so hopefully you stay on the comms tonight as well, Josh, because I've been enjoying some of the comments coming through.
At least we'll have one person watching us, Sam, although maybe he's watching the stream and might have the sound down, so let's hope not.
Here we go.
The two championship combatants, Reese and Wong, are going to be looking out for each other. As we see Sean, he's car 323, so he's on the left-hand side of the screen as we're looking now. Taking around, going down the southern loop. Everyone's behaved themselves. They got around safely, which is good to see. No incidences further back in the field either, as we got a 3 wide already between Chook, Woods and Reese.
Only V's, hey, only V's. Oh, look at that. As they cleanly go around, I think, is it Honda or has that changed its name?
It is... it has changed its name.
Yeah, Honda pulled out the sponsorship deal that they did with F1. Maybe they'll come back again as Ford.
We did have someone go off at the back. I didn't quite catch who that was. It looks like it's not Sam Chapman because he's talking.
Well, it's a good point. I did see myself on the grid and went, "Oh gosh, was I involved?" But I must have clicked on the wrong button when joining the server.
As we're all prone to do. There is starting to... Oh, there's a little bit of contact in mid-pack there. There is starting to be a bit of a gap between groups, as we kind of predicted. So it's a group of 3, and then another group of 3, then a group of 5. Wong... So here's where the draft will come in play. It's a massive draft in the Vs along this straight. Tailor-made V racing is for this circuit. So
look at that.
That's just...
It's absurd. We've got 2 groups of 3 wide here. This is Woods, Wong and Rees. No idea who's going to come out on top of that. Once again, you've got Nealon, Padgett and Brian, which I think you said was a new name behind. So good to see him out there. And then there's a little bit of a gap to Hooper leading off that next larger pack there in 7th. This pack has converged though now and is effectively a pack of 6. Looks like Shane Kelland has gone off track, unfortunately, as has Timothy Andrew deep in the pack. So we might have a look back at that later, but Formula V racing being Formula V racing, we probably actually don't have too much time for replay with what's going on our screens.
No, that's right, and I'm pretty impressed so far with the guys. They're very close race, particularly with the amount in each of the groups. They're playing very nicely, which is actually what we want to see. We're not out to see too much carnage at all, but we want to see really good racing, and it has done so far. So here we have it's chopping and changing really. Wong, Rees, Woods. Now Brendan Nealon's he's moved up. He's sitting in 3rd currently. He has I think it was Greg Padgett right on his tail, or Greg's on the left-hand side there. And now Sean Rees took from Wong, Ben Woods. So what is it? It's a group of 6, then a group of 3, then a group of 2. And those 3 and 2 are not too far behind. I would be surprised if that group of 5 ends up catching on to the tail end of this big group and makes it a cast of thousands.
Yeah, if they don't screw around too much and they work together a little bit, they'll catch them in no time. Because even being in a big group is handy from the slipstream perspective, but there's always points where you're going to have to slow down because there's too many other people around you. Whereas when you're in a bit of a group of 3, often you can get away with a little bit more. You've got a little bit more manoeuvrability and you might actually be able to catch up. Or one of these 5 just drops off the back a bit, as we saw a car off the track just there. I think it was Wayne Edwards, unfortunately there. But it's very easy for one of these cars just to drop off the pack a little bit, and then suddenly you've got an excuse to pull your way back into this front pack, and you really don't know who's going to win a Formula V race until you hit the line.
No, that's exactly right, Sam. And as I said a lap ago, I'm mighty impressed with the guys. They're still... there's a couple no. That's Neil.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, they're
it's
everywhere.
All over the place here. Yep. Hooper was involved. Nealon was involved. I think Cotter as well. They've dropped down the pack. That's split up this pack a little bit actually now. So this fight for the lead is Woods and Wong. Rees is right back as well, so he's being affected by that significantly as well. So that's really pulled that pack apart a fair bit. Now, am I reading this right? Are these 30-minute races? Each of these tonight?
I think it is, mate. Yeah, certainly here in the server, it's a 30-minute race. And I might just quickly, Sam, just mention fastest lap at the moment is Michael Ladder, who is up for us. Well, that's excellent work from Michael. He's done a 1:57.008. So we often don't see Michael up the pointy end of the field. That's not to say he's a bad driver at all, but it's good to see that he's actually setting the pace. I'm sure he'd be pretty impressed with that. But back to the Sam. I'm pretty sure it's 30 minutes each race, so the guys are in for a long night.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with these as well. If you've got the right dance partner, you can make your way up. It's really not all about pace. It's about really about strategy. Managing that strategy and having the right sort of person around you that's not going to hinder both your races. That will actually work with you to come forward. As well, thank you. Thanks for the feedback on the feedback, Ryan. Ryan being my teammate, Ryan Teagle. Good to hear you watching. Is it just me, or is it just Adam who has feedback? So I can play around with the sound a little bit, see if we can fix it up.
He's not only a teammate in the sim, he's a teammate in the comms box too. So that's, you don't want to lose him as a teammate, Sam.
No, you're right. He's important. Although it's a funny thing about us as teammates. Whenever we're in a server together, it always seems that one of us screw it up somehow. One of us will have a great race, and the other one will screw it up. So I don't know why that is. I don't know how it works. But yes, it's been very fun. We've done a lot of the production cars together this season when he hasn't had the work commitments.
So we have no change of the top after the crash that we'll hopefully get a replay of shortly. But Chuk Fung Wong and Ben Woods are very, very close together. Actually, so close together that Ben's actually got his nose in front right now, and he's currently sitting. Where did I say he was? Third in the championship, so he's primed to take a few points tonight, and he looks like he's ready to rock and roll. So he's getting in front. He's in front of Chuk Fung Wong. Greg Paget and Aaron Bryan is as we mentioned, he's not a name we're familiar with. So congrats to Aaron for his effort tonight so far. He's in P4. He's up one spot. Sean Reese. P5. He's down 4 spots. And then we have Adam Johnson, Michael Ladder, who's still on that best lap of 157.008. Wayne Edwards, Brendan Soper, Jonathan Hooper, Shane Kellen, Justin Cotter, Brendan Nealon, and Timothy Andrews. So, and unfortunately, Jonathan Hooper, Justin Cotter, and Brendan Nealon have had to visit the pits.
Absolutely. Wow, I mean, 30-minute race in a Formula V. Do they have that big a fuel tank? I don't think I've ever done a race that long.
Yeah,
Formula V. I've done 25 minutes maybe. I wonder whether there is any restriction on fuel here. Probably not, but we haven't seen that so far this season. But that could throw a spanner in the works for the boys.
It could throw a spanner in the works, actually. I actually can't confidently answer your question. I'm not sure how big a tank they have. Because we're used to, in the up-and-comers with the Vs, 10 and 15-minute and 20-minute races. So it will be interesting to find out, actually. And that will come through, if they do, I'm sure we'll see that.
Absolutely. And as well, we will see them all do it at once, you would imagine, too, if that is the case, just given the way Formula Vs are. You're not doing a pit strategy to try and get your way out of traffic, because traffic is going to be integral to your race. As we see Adam Johnson do the fastest lap of the race there in this battle of 3, a 1:56.96 as well. So pace all through the field here. This is probably it is the largest and closest battle on pack, with the second in the championship, Rees there in 6, will be hoping to his way back up a bit more. But to get his way into the podium positions is a little bit of a trek with Paget up, another couple of seconds ahead. Actually, even further, Johnson up another couple of seconds ahead. Paget down 5 from those leaders that are just swapping places at the moment. They seem to sort of be managing it together, hopefully not fighting too much at this stage of the race, because that would be pointless in a Formula V.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. And I'm just as we've got Sean Reese on the screen, I'm just wondering. Obviously Sean would realise he's second in the championship. So would he be trying? I wonder what his strategy is here, sitting in this pack. Is he hoping to get out, or is he happy just to sit behind utilise the draft, or is he after that accident? Is he thinking in his head, oh, I've got 2 races to go, maybe I'll maximise what I can here and see what I can come up with in the final 2 races, because he's only 26 points behind in the championship, so he's certainly not out of the picture at all.
Certainly not out of the picture. Oh, and I think that was Johnson, was it, that went around there? Who was...
Yeah, Johnson it was, yeah.
Oh, that was unfortunate. What happened to him? It looked like more of a self-job, but have a look. He's come over. Oh, he's just hit that AstroTurf. That AstroTurf is a killer if you're on the gas. Oh, that's very unfortunate through there.
He was doing so well, particularly when he had the fast lap on the previous lap too. So he'd be super disappointed with that. As we so now the battle of 4 is down to battle of 3. Michael Ladder well in the mix. So it's Sean Rees, Michael Ladder, and Aaron Bryan in this pack. And they're currently 3.5 seconds behind Greg Padgett, who's 5.5 seconds behind Ben Woods and Chuk Fung Wong, who are stuck together with some duct tape, I think. They are not letting each other get away at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was Rees at this point, my goal would be to at least get to that podium position. Padgett's up a few seconds ahead, but they are less than halfway through this race, and Padgett is on his own. If he can get, if Sean can get these guys to work with him, difficult it is. Once again, Aaron Bryan, that's a new name, right? When you've got a new name in the V's, you never know what they're going to work with you like. You never quite know whether they're going to block you on a corner or whether you can sort of play around on the straights together and keep making time up on the guy ahead. So he'll be trying to manage that and not take too many risks, but also it's integral. I mean, Wong's up there in either first or looking like an easy first or second without any major errors from those two. He's behind in the championship. He needs to really push his way up.
And we just got a comment there from the club. One of the more smarter guys than me. If it's a baseline setup, it's only 7 litres in the tank, which is just under 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So we're probably 5 or so minutes away, maybe 3 or 4 minutes away from seeing guys pull into the pits if it is the baseline setup, which from memory, I think up-and-comers are just baseline.
I've seen Latter in the pits as well, and I haven't seen an off-track from him, so whether he is taking time, let's see. Yeah, no, he's taking a pit time, so he may actually be filling up here.
Okay.
And
so
actually, all the guys that have pitted have had between 12 and 15 second pit times. And Michael Ladder third, they're taking fuel.
There we go. So there's our answer, which is something different because the guys don't normally pit in this series for fuel. So this actually could throw the cat amongst the pigeons.
Well, certainly in these. I don't think I've ever pitted in these for fuel. So
no, I don't.
That will make it interesting. It's interesting to see guys trying to do a strategy play on that and doing it a little bit earlier. Whether or not they're happier in clear air. Sometimes, when you're in a big pack of these, it's pretty stressful and you know that there's a lot of risk at play. Sometimes you might sort of want to get out of that for a little while and hope that you can just make it on your own, I guess.
And I was just going to say before, Sam, as we were watching the Bryan Rees battle, someone's gone around.
Who's that?
That is, I think that's Sean Rees.
Oh no! Oh, Sean, what's happened there?
I think that I'm not sure, but I think that was a solo
session.
Job. Yeah.
Adam Bryan going into pits now too. Let's have a look at what happened to Rees. I might have a look at a few more. So it's coming down here. He's gone a bit too fast in and tried to ask a little bit too much of the rears when there was no weight on them. Easy to do once again. Easy to do in the V's because they've got that while obviously very different vehicles, the setup is the same as the Porsche, but the engine's right at the back, and so is all the weight. So that sort of pendulum, the engine moving over, can do it. But he's hopped straight into the pits. He's decided that's enough for me for now, as have quite a few others. So it really is only the front four that are yet to pit. I will say we haven't actually looked at Woods and Wong that much, and I think that is mostly because I can sort of tell what they're doing. They're playing around together. They're doing a good job. They're going side by side and that sort of thing. But I think they're being smart enough not to take too many risks with it. But they've been within, half a second this entire time, swapping over once or twice a lap, pretty much. So impressive display by these two to hold it together throughout this time. I don't think these guys have raced the V's for quite a few weeks now too, so they could be a little bit rusty. Good job from the boys up front.
It is a good job for the boys. It'll be interesting to see if they're just going around towards the pit entry now. Are they going to go in together? Yes, they are. So bit of cat and mouse between. It is a smart move, absolutely. It is a cat and mouse between 1 and 2. And these two guys, along with Sean Rees, are kind of the class of the field, if I can say that, with all respect to everyone else. They're the leaders of the field, as is dictated by where they are in the standings. But that's not to say that any of the other guys are poor by any stretch of the imagination. But you just tend to find towards the end of a season, you do see who takes well to the series, and as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Sam, there is a lot of trust, particularly in the V's around a circuit like this, with who you can and who you can't race and who you're familiar with, and how much you can push and ease off and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is interesting. Woods has done a significantly quicker stop. He's taken less fuel by the looks. He's got a 13.2 second stop compared to a 15.4 second stop for Wong, and he's now 2 seconds out ahead. So he's out of the slipstream. So if Woods can hold on to pace, now we know that Wong has a lot of pace, but if Woods can hold on to pace here at the same as Wong, he can hold on to this race. But already Wong's within that 2 seconds. He'll be really desperately trying to claw that back. There's probably nothing more frustrating than being in a Formula V about 2 seconds back from the car in front. Because you're just desperately trying to get there because you know your race is going to fall apart otherwise.
Yeah, it is. And I'm just looking at our timing that we have access to, Sam, and for some reason Greg Padgett had a 35-second pit stop.
So he did too.
Maybe we might be able to catch that. I don't know what's happened to Greg because he's gone all the way down the order into P9.
Maybe took tyres.
Oh, he could have had that checked by accident.
Yeah, okay. That's the only thing I can think of. Because as well, with V's, you're probably not checking these things before you start your races. You do in a GT4 or something like that, and you go, okay, I've got to pit stop this race. Like, you don't really think about that in V's. So maybe that's what's happened there. But unfortunate for Greg. He was, I think he's fourth in the championship. Obviously championship winner last season in that blockbuster finale. But yeah, disappointing for him. Let's see as well, while it's quieting down a little bit, Woods is still holding on from Wong at this point, 1.78 seconds ahead. Very slowly making up time, Wong, but not with any particular haste. So let's just have a quick look, because I think the first crash was Andrew, unfortunately. This was right back at the start of the race on the first lap. Andrew racing the hot dog livery that Wayne Gizza usually likes to take on. Yeah, just a little bit. Issue that. It's just Kellen. Yeah, rear going out on your classic V's behaviour. So it looks like he went on a bit of an excursion somewhere. It's probably because he spun in front. and so he's just tried to go and avoid him, and then he's ended up in the middle of nowhere. But he's actually brought that back pretty well.
He's done pretty well because the V's and grass don't like each other, so he's done very well in that regard.
Well, you're right. Well, the V's and tarmac really like each other, so grass is not certainly not an area of expertise. So this was Neilon's accident, which I think, is part of this larger group. So someone's gone over ahead, and then and then it's just.
I think it might have been Justin Cotter, mate.
Justin Cotter did that. Let's have a look.
I know it was a red and white. Oh no, it's too far back. It was a red and white livery, but it wasn't Justin. There's two KFC liveries. Okay, that's where I got confused.
Gosh, KFC getting great ad revenue tonight from the GSRC. That's good. I do like the KFC livery, to be fair. It's I've actually been done by that before, where it was on a broadcast, and I think Zach commented, Trucker Joe better not say that, it'll be straight to KFC, and I went, oh no, I'm going to actually have to order some KFC now. I hopped on menu log and got it cracking.
Subliminal London classic.
Mate, it was. I've never seen advertising work so well. Woods and Wong, we're right back together, aren't we?
I was just going to say, can we jump to the lead, because this is getting very tasty indeed. What do we have? We've got ticking over to 7 minutes to go, and Wong has made up almost 2 seconds on Woods, so he's definitely got his eye in, and is making a race of it. So that's been a stellar effort by Chook to make up that gap. And I was just going to say earlier, Sam, when they were having their pit stops, I wonder if, I don't know of course, but I wonder if the guys, one was manually pit fueling and the other was having crew chief or iRacing automatic pits, or I'm not sure, because...
potentially, that's true. If you're ticking the automatic iRacing one, it will put in a little bit more fuel than you need. So I usually use my own calculator for that reason, because an extra couple of litres, depending on some pit crews car pit crews are a lot more effective than others. There are some cars where I think they're blowing it in with a straw. I can't remember which one that was. I think it was the Formula Ford or something. That was, I reckon they were carrying it in buckets from a town about 4 kilometres away. Anyway, so as these guys go too wide, very wide apart from each other, not taking any risks there. Not that, I think even if they came together unless they had damage, they'd be fine, because 13 seconds out ahead of Brian. Brian, once again, that new name as well, is sitting in the podium spot, so very well done by him to get to that point. And then you've got Rees there in 4th, which, given where he started and given what the championship battle is, I think he'll be a bit disappointed with, but has made back a little bit to get there, and has a bit of a buffer to ladder behind him once again with 5 seconds. So, as I said before, I think he'll still try and get to Brian, but that's it's a fair trek in 5 minutes to make up 5 seconds in a day.
It is, and then Michael Ladders 5 seconds behind Sean, and then there's 4 seconds to Justin Cotter. And the battle, Adam Johnson and Brendan Nealon battle, which is just as close as the battle between 1 and 2. They're 7 and 8 respectively, with Greg Padgett, just a second off. So, and that'd be Greg will be pretty disappointed in that, because he's sitting third. What did I say? He is
being just down in the corner for you. Oh no, it's not. I lied. We'll put it on. So what's happening is Adam Labers has set up live points for us again, potentially. If it's close for the final race tonight, he's set up live points. But my points table is linked directly to the live points.
that's fair enough.
That's
We'll keep that quiet.
all in flux for now. And I'll give you the go ahead. We can have a look again.
Yeah, no. So I think Greg was in fourth, and then Greg was in third, and Ben Woods was in fourth. I think that was from memory how it was situated right at the start of the race. So what do we have? We have 3.5 minutes to go. So still Woods and Wong at the top. Best lap of the race has been Chook with a 156.54. And they've eked out a 13-second lead now over Aaron Bryan, who I'm sure for his first race with the club, if it is his first race with the club, would be super impressed with what potentially could be a podium. And then as we're watching the three-way battle between Nealon, Johnson and Paget. So although Greg's gone off, he's had an off track, so I think I'm going to stop talking about Greg tonight. He won't.
Oh goodness. Oh gosh. Is he damaged? Yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully he can pin onto the back of Soper there and at least still have a bit of a dance partner with him and Nealon. As another car off track. Who's that? Timothy Andrew. I think he's lapped down. And he's just gone to pits. So unfortunate race for Greg here. But they are a love or hate for these. They can hit you when you least expect it, or give you an unexpectedly brilliant result. Unfortunately, it's not one of the positive ones for Greg this evening.
No, and it's pretty rare that it's anywhere in between. So, yeah, as you said, it's either you're happy with your race or you're downcast with it. So how are we situated? So we're just under 2 minutes to go. Oh, look out! That's. I
think there was a bit of contact there.
I think Mr. Johnson might have a little bit of work to do for the first time tonight.
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah,
it's netcode.
Oh,
that's
netcode.
Netcode through and through, unfortunately. That's unfortunate for Soper there.
That's a big amount of netcode, if I'm honest.
It was a huge amount of netcode, wasn't it? They were about 1.5 meters apart when that happened.
So as we see, unfortunately, Greg Paget in the pits, as we say, he'd be very disappointed with that. So he'll be looking to regroup for the 86 race, which is next. As we're back to the front, Woods and Wong fighting it out. They've been tied together pretty much all race, other than the pit stop where they were maximum of 2 seconds apart. So we didn't get a chance to see whether Barney's waved his white flag yet, but so we're going to assume that we're on the last lap. I can never tell when the actual. I wish they had instead of not only the checkered flag that they have, Sam, but the white flag as well. So numpties like
I agree. It always gets it because we never quite know when it's coming. But yeah, the white flag would be a nice addition. SDK, if you're listening, to this little one. I think there are some other platforms actually that I might be able to put on there. Here we go. This will be. Is that the checkers? Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. I think
it's not. They're still going. They're still going. They got across just in time. We're in overtime tonight, so they're going to be fighting it out on this final lap. They've swapped about twice a lap for this entire time. Wong will be desperately trying to get past Woods, but I would not be surprised if he doesn't go past him until the final corner. He will sit behind this entire lap because being PI, there is a long straight before you hit the line, and these Vs, they love to slipstream. So Woods will probably be really hoping that Wong actually goes past him, and might even go slow or wide like that to make it happen. So if Woods is smart, he would do exactly that same thing. Sit behind while Wong pushes, and then hope that he can take him just on that final straight there, which is classic Phillip Ireland. We've seen 5 wide at the line before through there in V's. I don't think we'll see that tonight. It would be about half the field. And to be fair, with a race this long, you can't really expect it to. Usually V races are sort of 10-15 minutes. So let's see what Woods can do. Has a decent exit from that final corner. The final hard corner as far as braking zone is concerned. And now he will sit there and he should be able to take this victory without too much issue from here, I would have thought.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. As we get to see who gets across the line, it is.
It looks like Woods. Yeah, he got him by
is that
5 hundredths.
Right. There we go.
5 hundredths of a second. So, very close race. Those two were very impressive all race. I've heard someone's out of juice.
A lot of fun.
Who's out of juice? I'm hearing it over the comms, and actually I think the broadcast is too, because I didn't turn off the comms. So, oh no. Who is dropping down the order? Is it Cotter?
I think it might be Justin Cotter.
Yeah, very, very slowly here. Oh, just hoping he can get across. Yeah.
Someone give him a push.
I'm assuming it was Cotter, but yeah.
Hey Sam, are we able to go back to that incident between Soper and Hooper, where we thought it was netcode because it's actually a 5-second penalty? So, from the front on shot, it definitely looked like netcode.
Let's have a look at Chopper. So this was the Soper. He was there. I mean,
okay.
I must say it was fairly delayed, and it did look like there was some netcode. It did look a lot closer in that shot, though, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It
did. But we'll leave it to the trusty race control. He has probably looked at it in a little more detail than we have.
Well, there's a reason why we're in comms and not race control, Sam. So.
Well, that's true. That's true. You wouldn't want to listen to me doing race control, would you? Aren't you the guy that crashed into me last week? Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So what do we have? We got Woods, Wong, Bryan. Excellent effort by Aaron Bryan to get the podium place. Reese, he'd be disappointed with that, but at the same time, from where he got to from where he was, he'd be okay with P4. He'll take that any day of the week. From his incidences, Johnson, Ladder, Nealon, Hooper, Cotter, Soper, Edwards, Paget, Andrew, and Kelland quit fairly early or halfway through. So not too many incidences to speak of. So more solo efforts, and only the one penalty in the race. But that has certainly moved Woods closer to the Reese Wong battle in the championship. I'm only going to assume that he's gotten in front of Greg Paget because he was pretty close to Greg. I think he was only 20 or 30 points behind Greg leading into this first race. As you mentioned before, we've got the trusty Adam Lavis, one of the cornerstones of the club. He'll be doing live points, so we'll keep that a little bit under the hat at this point. But and Greg will end up being quite disappointed with P12 in the end. So the guys will jump out of this server and jump into the V server, the Toyota server, which what will that entail? I think they'll be qualifying now. So.
Yeah, so I think the half-hour quali, half-hour race. I'll just have a check, and what I think we'll do is take a break in between and come back in the last sort of few minutes of quali. Adam, if that suits you.
Yeah, that suits me perfectly, actually.
All right, excellent. I'll find something to put up mid collie, and I'll talk to you in the break, and we'll work out the next steps.
Awesome. We'll see you guys in the next race.